part of the program, we are absolutely delighted and fortunate to have a Houstonian here by the name of Dolly Vyas Ahuja, who is a producer, a director, and a narrator of a short film that she put out yesterday. I think it was released, called The Land of Ahimsa.
Yes.
Ahimsa is non-violence. And as Indians, we know, and Indians and Pakistanis, because it was a subcontinent where we saw how the non-violent movement brought about freedom to that country. So Ahimsa has pretty much been synonymous with Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King, and other great people, Buddha, and others, other great people, as you can mention. It also brings in, it, invokes in your mind that when you talk about Ahimsa, it's somehow related with India. And that's where we're going to be talking about today. Is Ahimsa really seen in India anymore as far as Dolly is concerned? Because Dolly's gone through that path now in India. She's discovered herself in India, rediscovered maybe is the right word. She is the voice of the voiceless. She is a pioneer, I think, in what we're going to be talking about. Animal cruelty, veganism, and other topics. So, Dolly, thank you for coming into our studio. We just called you and you said, I'll be there. I like guests like that. I called Jasmine the other day. Jasmine, would you come to our studio? She said, where's the studio? I'll be there. Those are the kind of guests we really love having out here. As opposed to someone, मैं 2 महीने के बाद आता हूँ. If you call me again. We don't like that. So I really love both of y'all coming out here. Introduce your husband also, please.
And while you do that, I want to plug in very quickly what the movie that you made, what you stand for, it is very close to my heart.
Oh,
yeah, we're going to talk about what Ramesh does
we'll
also.
talk about it once you've introduced your
number one,
husband.
Number one, thank you both. 103.5. Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor.
Open forum.
Yeah. And I want to thank my husband who's here today, Mayur Ahuja, who's helped me produce this film, The Land of Ahimsa.
The Land of Ahimsa. Is this your first film that you produced, or is this?
Yes, my first
one
film.
of the 50s.
No.
The first
this
one.
This is the first one. I never knew it was going to come to this, but here we are.
Okay, Dolly, let's talk about Dolly before we move into this movie and the actual talk about veganism, etc. You were born in India.
Yes.
No, wait a minute. Yeah, you were.
Yes.
And then what happened after that?
Yes, I was born in Mumbai, India, and my dad came here in the early, 70s. Mm-hmm. So I've been here since I was 1 year old.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
I might have my Indian values and culture, but I grew up the American way.
Okay.
I grew up in a Gujarati vegetarian household, but when my brother and I started the lunch school program as kindergartners, we ate in the lunch school program. I think my father just said, if we're going to live here, we adapt to the American way.
Okay.
I grew up eating pizza, burgers, popcorn, ice cream, you name it. Mm-hmm. Pretty much disconnected all my life until I had my awakening.
Hold on.
So how did you transition into that, Dolly?
Yeah. So I started following the way of the Tao in Taoism. Mm-hmm. And a Taoist teacher taught me to start meditating outside. And meditate under a tree, because trees carry a lot of wisdom, a lot of knowledge. Exchange oxygen and CO2 with the tree. And I started doing that. And I would put my hands in the soil of the tree, and I would say, please remove all the toxins out of my body and decompose it to positive energy. After doing this, I started getting into juicing. I started listening to Charlotte Garrison from the Garrison Therapy Clinic, who give carrot, apple, ginger juice to cure cancer. Mm-hmm. And I really got into this. I bought my first juicer. I started making it for my kids. Green juice, lemon water, smoothies. Felt this tremendous energy. I wasn't a vegan yet. I would go to the tree.
What stage of your life you're talking about? Were you in your 20s at that time?
No.
or?
Well, I'm not going to say my age, but it was 8 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So
8 years
quite
ago.
Recent then. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would continue to go to the tree, and I would tell the tree, show me love, show me compassion, show me the truth of this world. Let my heart multiply and multiply and multiply. Mm-hmm. as I came home walking my dog one day, watching a juicing video, I bumped into another video. And it was called The Best Speech Ever by Gary Yavalsky, and it was on animal cruelty. And it was so devastating to watch. I tried to cook dinner that night, and I pretty much had a breakdown on the kitchen floor, and I went vegan overnight. It was so difficult to watch.
Again, 8 years ago.
8 years
approximately.
ago.
Okay.
Yes. So I no longer wanted to ingest slaughter, anxiety, fear in my body, and I just could not do this anymore.
Okay. And that's your journey to, that was a stimulus, basically.
This was just step one. You know,
Yeah.
I woke up because I'm an Indian Gujarati. I have to have my chai in the morning.
Right, of course.
So what to do? I woke up in the morning, went to the grocery store and picked up my first almond milk. Later, I learned how to make, plant-based milks. So I would make cashew milk, almond milk, all at my house.
Right.
Little by little, I started learning, met my own community, and I knew being vegan wasn't enough.
Right.
And that's when I became a vegan activist.
Yes.
And I spoke at my first Jain temple here in Houston.
Fantastic. A few of the callers who are going to call in now, I want to just tell them that stay on hold because I want to get your input into this whole program, and then we're going to take their calls. So
Okay.
I have at least one person. I put her on hold, or him. I don't know who that is.
Okay.
But just stay put. Don't run away.
Okay.
So veganism is where you started off. I have a niece who's she's a vegan, and when she comes to dinner with us, we do have a little struggle. We have, not her. She doesn't have any struggle. She knows what to order, and she knows the restaurants to go to.
Yes.
Did you ever experience something like that, or you become, with the world now, veganism is my life and I can eat whatever you can eat? Do you have any difficulty going to restaurants?
So a lot of people in my family, like when we go on vacations or when I went to India right now, a lot of people ask me, where are you going to eat? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
But it's actually so easy, we tell them, hold the ghee. Our Indian food, sabji, dal, chawal,
Yeah.
is vegan by default anyway. We just tell them, hold the
dal
ghee.
and chawal. Yes, I can
Yeah.
say that. Yeah.
Yeah. Hold
Ghee
the-
is not.
Yeah, ghee is not. So
Okay.
just hold the ghee. Or we can go to restaurant. If we're that desperate and we're at a pizza place, we have nothing. We just say, hold the cheese, give us a bunch of veggies. So wherever I go, I never, ever have a problem.
But most of the menus now do have a vegan,
Yes.
they've got this green leaf or whatever, something floating from the sky out there.
Yes.
I'm like, that is vegan.
Yeah.
Is it that?
Yeah.
And I've had some vegan ice cream and vegan yogurt, and I'm just shocked. I went to Austin, there was a vegan restaurant.
Yes.
And we had pizzas out there, and I
Yeah.
went back again. I'm like, what? This taste is amazing. So
Yeah.
it's not hopeless for
I
people
know.
who want to
It's
turn.
not hopeless. And even here in Houston, Texas, my friend recently, Ruzi, opened a great restaurant called Pythagoras in Sugarland.
Right.
Some
Oh, yeah.
amazing pizza.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get back to the movie that you made. Tell us about the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the Land of Ahimsa follows my overnight transformation to veganism
Right.
and my passion to be the voice for the voiceless. Now, India is known for being the land of Ahimsa, but we have gotten so far away from this word. And so this movie will align the viewers, align their values with their actions. And bringing Ahimsa back into action. And I'm also a granddaughter of a freedom fighter. His name was Chaggan Lal Joshi.
Oh, wow.
He fought with Mahatma Gandhi all his life. He was right there at his side at the Dandi Kuch March, the Salt March. He's gone to jail with him. He's lived in the ashram with him. So today I follow in my grandfather's footsteps. I am also a freedom fighter, fighting for the greatest social justice issue talked about today, speciesism. And so this movie will cover how animal agriculture is affecting our health, our treatment to animals, and how we're devastating the planet.
Well, and Ramesh himself, he's such an animal lover. He does rescue dogs. My friend, the one who does our blogging, we get this, you'll be able to hear this show later on when she puts it on. Her name is Fennel Shah. She does the same thing. They rescue dogs and cats and make sure these animals who are, again, voiceless,
Yes.
sometimes speechless, if we want to call them, and how do they help these little animals, right? So I appreciate you coming and talking a little bit more about that. The what I see is I eat a lot of meat. I'll be honest with you.
Okay, doctor.
When I say a lot of meat, doesn't mean I eat only meat. I eat meat, but I eat also my vegetables and my whatever else comes with it.
Yes.
So for people who are listening, I don't know what the percentage of people are vegans out there. Maybe less than 1%, maybe more than 1. I don't know. It's a mindset. When I saw the film that you made, and I'm going to let people see it, and we're going to talk a little bit more. When I saw the film, as it rolled out, I'm like, you know what? This sounds awesome, but how the heck am I ever going to do that? I mean, I do like my chicken tikka masala and my other things that I don't want to say. मेरे मुंह में पानी आ जाएगा फिर.
So let me
नहीं
ask you a
करते
question.
हम.
Let me ask you a question.
Oh gosh, ये इंटरव्यूअर को इंटरव्यू करने वाले.
Let me ask you a
ये
question.
डॉली कहाँ से आ गई भाई?
Would anybody in this room hurt an innocent animal unnecessarily?
And that's why I don't go and see those animals actually being processed for this thing. Yes, yeah, I hear what you're saying.
So what I'm trying to say is,
Yeah.
we're all born vegan.
Okay.
But society has taught us that this is natural, normal, and necessary. I grew up like you. And when you say meat,
Yeah.
we actually dead animal is what you mean.
Right.
An animal that wanted to live, that had a mother, that has feelings, just like your cats and dogs. All animals want to live, not just your cat. So we're born this way, but our parents and society has taught us that it's okay to do this. But it's not our innate nature to do it.
I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take a couple of callers out here, and then we're going to talk about your movie. Okay, that's important. Dr. Jasmine Khan she's right here. She's a cardiologist. So we did talk about a lot of good diet, and I bet, do you have a comment about veganism, if you want to, as a medical doctor?
As a cardiologist, there are studies that show plant-based diets can reduce cardiovascular diseases.
It's also
and cardiovascular
reversing them.
risk.
Yeah.
So there are benefits of plant-based diet or vegan diet. Now, majority of the patients who are already non-vegans, they are reluctant to become vegans, but making them aware that plant-based food can be healthy and to encourage them to eat more plant-based food might be a very feasible option to reduce their cardiovascular risk.
I 100% agree with you. I tell my patients exactly the same thing.
In fact, if I may add,
Yes, sir.
Subodh, and for you, Jasmine, a good friend of mine, early 40s, he got a heart attack just a month and a half, 2 months ago.
Goodness.
And he got 2 stents. And he shifted. He was a vegetarian, but now he's shifted and became a vegan.
There you go.
So I call him for coffee. He comes with his almond milk with him.
Right.
There you go.
To the coffee shop.
There you
Yeah.
go.
And he shifted and became vegan.
Awesome.
And he is convinced that that's the way to go. Somebody told him that's better for his heart.
That's awesome.
Fantastic.
Real quick, we have a doctor right here in Houston, Dr. Baxter Montgomery, and he is reversing people's heart disease. Dr. Baxter Montgomery, Montgomery Health and Wellness.
Fantastic. Let's go to, we've got a couple of calls, so I'm going to take in the order they came. One is, I think it's Chawla.
Yes, Bandana Chawla, Dr. Bandana Chawla.
Dr. Bandana Chawla, you are on Open Forum. 75,000 people are listening to you. What's your comment about the show today?
Hi, so this is Dr. Bandana Chawla. I am board certified in internal medicine and also the new field of lifestyle medicine. And I actually am one of the people in the movie as well. And I wholeheartedly believe in just eating and encouraging my patients to eat more and more plant foods. Eat with a plant-predominant diet or plant slant or plant-forward diet, to where I encourage them to decrease the processed foods and animal foods in their diet and increase the whole plant foods, because that's what's been shown to really improve health. And actually also have my husband, Dr. Munish Chawla, who's board certified in radiology and also lifestyle medicine here as well.
That's awesome.
Hi.
Hi. How are you doing?
Dolly,
Dr. Chawla and Chawla. Chawla and Company. Yes, go ahead.
Yes. So, I wholeheartedly agree with what Dolly is saying. And as from a medical perspective, as my wife mentioned, the more plants you can eat, the more you can reduce your processed foods and animal foods. You're doing yourself a world of favor in terms of health.
All right.
But I also want to mention that, we hear about the Mediterranean diet quite a bit, about, good for heart health. But the only diet in a randomized controlled clinical trial that has been shown to reverse heart disease is a whole foods plant-based diet.
Shout out.
So this is something, most physicians don't know. And this is the work of Dean Ornish and Caldwell Esselstyn, that, my wife and I run a clinic in Houston, Lifestyle Docs, and we work with patients, reversing diabetes, reversing hypertension and heart disease.
Fantastic.
Using a whole foods plant-based diet.
You might be in my studio very soon, then, both of y'all.
Yes, they both are amazing. And let me give a shout out. There are associated producers of this movie. They're dear friends of mine. And I love you both very much.
I'm going to take
Hello.
Doctors Chawla, just hold on. I'm going to take Heer Parekh.
Yes.
Is that the one?
Yes.
Okay, Heer Parekh. You're on air. Go ahead, please.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. Yes, ma'am.
Hi. Hey, Dolly. Congratulations on the documentary.
Thank you, here. Thank you.
So I just wanted to talk a little bit about veganism. I've been vegan for 10 years now. I met Dolly about 5 years ago, and we've done activism together, and we've promoted to the Indian community as much as we can. And, there's a lot of benefits to the diet. Last year, I hosted the first ever Indian Pakistani vegan wedding. My husband is Pakistani Muslim. I'm Indian Hindu, and he's also vegan. He's still going to celebrate his third vegan anniversary next year. As soon as he became vegan, he dropped in 3 months 25 pounds, and all just some, his blood pressure, everything, cholesterol, everything is like really amazing at this point.
All right,
and he's been able to maintain.
Let's break it down now. Let's break it down. All right, let's see. Let's pretend Subodh Butcher is going to become a vegan. Pretend. Like, it's Saturday, I've got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Let's pretend Subodh is going to be. What am I going to be eating for breakfast?
Well, what I drink is a heavy smoothie.
Okay.
And I eat this Eskil bread, which is 100% sprouted bread with the organic peanut butter.
Okay.
But my smoothie is just full of
peanut butter made of?
Sorry?
Peanut butter, so there's cow's milk. Is dairy or not?
No, just peanut butter.
Okay.
Just peanut
butter. Okay.
Yeah, peanut butter.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And a heavy smoothie with a lot of fruits in it. Every fruit you can imagine.
Okay.
With coconut water. And I also put spirulina, maca, flaxseed, MC. So this is a boost of energy. And then for lunch, because I like to eat healthy during the week. So for lunch, I'll do a heavy salad with tofu. And I'll put all kinds of our Indian masalas in it. And with a baked potato, no butter. And for dinner, my husband and I drink green juice Monday through Thursday.
Yeah.
During the weekends, we cook vegan food.
Okay. Did you force him to become a vegan, or did he just choose to become a vegan?
I didn't force him. I explained to him. Mayur bhai. I explained to him everything that's going on.
Yeah.
And like I told you, our innate nature is not to kill. If I brought an animal into this room, can any of us cut that animal into pieces?
I couldn't
or
do
could
that.
we want to cut a carrot? Right?
I'd cut a carrot for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so I showed him.
I'm
then
scared
of
of
course
her now.
he had to get stents put in.
You see 6 foot away.
He had to get stents put in. So of course we wanted to take this route for his health.
But of course.
So it's a win-win.
Fantastic. That's amazing. Tell us about the movie itself. Why did you want to make a movie? And I saw in the movie you were out on, you had this megaphone in your hand and you were like, I'm like, wait a minute, is this a movie about veganism? Or is she going to create some ruckus out here?
Yeah.
What were you doing there?
Yeah. So my first time, I got to meet a lot of activists in India through social media.
Okay.
Indian activists from India.
Talking about animal rights?
Animal rights.
Okay, all right.
And there was the biggest march in Pune, in India, for the first time. And they invited me. So, of course, I told my husband, I got to go. I have to stand up with my brothers and sisters.
Right.
So I went for the Animal Liberation March. And that's where
Where
you
was
see
it
me.
now? Pune.
Pune.
Okay.
That's where you see me with the
megaphone. Yeah.
Just like, my grandfather stood with Gandhi and they took that salt march.
Right.
After that, I was invited to speak at the World Vegan Conference in New Delhi, India.
Nice.
This is when I told my husband, I want to interview all these activists and doctors for my YouTube channel.
Right.
I have a small YouTube channel with recipes, and I interview doctors on it. And he's like, sure, let's do that. And then I must have slept on it for 5 days and woke up and said, why don't we do a documentary? There hasn't been a vegan documentary in India. I really want to do this. He says, that's a great idea. We called up our childhood friend, who's a Bollywood director, Mr. Ariman Ramsey. He took on the challenge, and here we are.
Here we are. And
What's the last name?
Ramsey.
Horror picture wala
Yes.
Ramsey film.
Uska beta. Uska beta.
Look at that.
Uska beta hai. Yeah, Mr. Ariman yeah. Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
So,
know, I just a thought came to my mind. As Subodh, Dr. Subodh mentioned, I can't rescue all animals, but I rescue dogs and cats. Rescued over 600 dogs, and every week I rescue one
Thank
and
you.
find a home.
Thank you.
And sometimes some non-profits invite me to come and talk about animals. I've had situation where the first question I ask is, do you think I'm wasting my time rescuing animals? Because you may feel there are other more important social objectives that one can look at. And once I had the opportunity to go to a Hindu event, the all Hindu, they started with a Ganesha prayer.
right.
And then they asked me to talk. And then I told them that when you go to a temple, if you go visit a temple, you think of any Indian god or goddess, you'll find somebody from the animal kingdom associated.
Right.
So it's high time when you walk into a temple, don't just go to the main deity. Look around and you'll see Hinduism by nature. It protects animals. It's
Exactly.
ingrained in our society.
Exactly.
And once I was at the Rotary Club Sugarland,
Right.
where I had the mayor of Sugarland, etc., I was the only Indian out, the only brown-skinned guy.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know, tubelight chamka mera. So I said that, is there anybody here who's not a Christian, Jew, or a Muslim, except me? So they were all belonged. I said, one thing that's common in all three faiths, it is Noah's Ark. My understanding is Noah's Ark appears in all three books, is what I've been told. Again, it's all about saving animals. So I
Exactly.
just thought I'd share this with you since you are big into animals.
Exactly.
Ramesh is amazing. That's why he's
Yeah.
one of our hosts out here.
I know. It's awesome. I'd like to be a host one day.
Yeah. Oh my God. Here we go. We resign out here.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Okay. So, where are we going from here now? Now you got
So-
your movie out.
Yes, so
and
now
you
it's
got
on.
you got your story out.
Yep.
What are you going to do in Houston that you create this, movement, basically?
Yeah, so, the future, I'd love to do screenings of this film everywhere. I want to do a part 2 actually for children, an animated version
Right.
of this film. But the most important thing is we as Indians, as pure vegetarian Indians, we don't think that there's any cruelty in doodh.
Dude.
हाँ दूध
Yeah.
but दूध में बहुत cruelty है because when the baby is born there's no use for the male calf, so the male calf America में goes to veal. India में they may be going for the leather. Second, there is no love making anymore. They're all artificially inseminated, which is a crude procedure. It's actually, the medical term for this is called a rape rack, where they put them in this rack, and it's bestiality.
Okay.
And third, their lifespan is only 5 to 6 when they can live to 20 to 25 years. It's become very commercial, and it is exploiting motherhood and the female body.
Okay.
We're using her for this one reason, because she's a female, and we're using her for this reproductive cycle, which is so wrong, and it's not who we are. We would never want to harm a mother or separate a mother from her child for our taste and tradition.
Let's take Anuj Shah on air. Anuj, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. How are you guys doing?
Fantastic. We are living a dream in the studio out here. Do you look at the studio? Do you think it's like a first-class lounge?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's
Hi,
gonna
Anuj. Thanks
that's
for
gonna
coming.
make them jealous. They want to be here
You
too.
should have invited me to come there in
Seattle,
person.
yeah.
Sounds like a beautiful environment you all are in.
Next time. We'll
Oh,
do
yeah,
that.
you got to
Next
come
time.
in too.
This is good. Okay.
I would love it. Well, Dolly's a dear friend, and full disclosure, I'm in the movie as well. I have a very small part, but Dolly's just a wonderful person. I want to just say something. I'm not a medical doctor, as a lot of people who've called in are, and I know that there's a, sort of a health and medical concern or, angle to going plant-based and going vegan, which is very important, and that's essentially how I got vegan in the first place. I went vegan, it'll be 34 years in February.
Oh my. Okay.
Last I checked, I'm not about to fall over. I survived just fine.
Yeah.
What to eat is never an issue.
Yeah.
In 34 years, there's only one time I can ever even think where it was an issue. I was in rural Hungary in April of 1995, and in rural Hungary, it was a little tough, but we still found something at a store. So the concerns that people have, like, oh my God, what are we going to eat, and how are we going to survive, and how am I going to do this in 2023 here coming up? It's just not a concern. What I want to say as a non-medical professional is, and I certainly applaud people who are rescuing, dogs and cats, and that's beautiful, and thank you for doing that. My question would be for people to ask, not how are we going to go vegan, but why would we not go vegan, and why are we tolerating a universe and a world in which we condone and support and with our money and with our dollars advocate the torture, the mutilation, the confinement, the torture, the dismemberment, and finally the murder of animals, just so we can eat them and wear them and drink their secretions?
Yeah, beautiful.
That's a question I think we all really need to be asking, not how are we going to do this? Where there's a will, there's a way, right? I mean, we are now in 2023, and we are, as a civilization, in my opinion, it's our moral imperative to look at how we can live a life of full compassion and not just convenience.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Well, I don't think I can answer any of those questions, but that's something that our audience ought to understand. Sleep over it tonight. And, and you guys are very articulate about, what you want to put across there, and that's fantastic. It is in some minds, most minds, I think, not just some. In most minds, it's a transition that may take a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of thinking. So all my listeners out there, give it a thought. And if they want to get in touch with all of y'all, Dolly, especially you, because you're into this, making this movie, and then hopefully you're into giving speeches, as Ramesh has been giving a different organization, different maybe religious or non-religious organization, where you actually put across, show this film.
Yes.
It's a short film.
Yes.
And you, once the film's over, take questions and answers and propagate what you're talking about. What's your next step then?
Yes. So like I said, I'd love to do an animation for children now.
Okay.
Children in India.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
How do you get teenagers to do this? Because,
Well, I feel like the young generation wants to make this switch.
Right.
Yes. In India, I really feel it. It's the elderly, because they're so used to, they're drinking their chai and their chash and, but the younger generation really are creating a great movement. So
Right.
I want to explain this to very little kids,
Right.
because kids just get it. They just get it. I mean, we are the only people on this planet who are drinking another species' milk. It's not even normal. We were just taught this. It's not normal to drink a breast milk of another species.
Let me ask you something else. This movie that you made, the documentary, how do people watch it? Where do they go? Would you like to share that information?
Thank you,
Yes,
Ramesh. Yeah.
yes. So please go on to Plant-Based News on YouTube. They have a YouTube channel. It is going to be on there for 90 days. Check out our website, www.thelandofahimsa.com. Please do take a look. We'd like for everyone to do screenings, share this worldwide. And I don't know if my friends are still on the line.
They are. Two
Okay.
of them
Okay.
here, and the Chawla family.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So they're online, and I want to thank them for calling in. I had a question that I wanted to ask Mayur, actually. Mayur, in this vegan journey of yours, did you give up alcohol also?
I did not.
You did not?
I did not.
Yeah.
No.
That's
No.
not part of the vegan journey,
Well,
obviously.
yeah, it can be. It depends on, you have to do
That's a
research.
question someone asked me.
Oh,
so
good,
I'm-
good, yeah.
exactly.
You do have to research. Some wines, some stuff might have animal cruelty in it, so you have to be very careful of those things. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
and,
right.
and just from a cholesterol standpoint, 30 days after I turned vegan, my cholesterol dropped 100 basis points.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Fantastic. I'm going to take one of my favorite person in Houston. I've taken care of their family for eons. I don't want to give my age away, but for a long time.
Yeah.
And it's Dr. Kotecha and his wife,
Oh,
Smita.
yes,
Deepak
yes.
and Smita are online. Smita, how are you doing? Or is it Deepak? Who's it today?
Hi, Dr. Butcher. We're doing good. How are
Fantastic. That's Dr. Kotecha.
Hi, Dr. Kotecha. Thank you for coming on.
you? Hi, Dolly. No, thank you for putting this.
I saw Dr.
I just
Kotecha
wanted to-
in your movie.
Of course.
I didn't expect that. I should have expected that because his whole family is vegan.
Yeah.
But I didn't know y'all knew each other. And so
Well-
in watching the movie, I'm like, Hey, wait a minute. I know this gentleman out there.
Yeah, I'm so fortunate to meet amazing people in my journey, and right here in Houston, I'm so honored.
Yeah. Go ahead, Deepak. Tell us your story on this.
So I'm going to give you a clinical perspective, right? I've been putting patients on the vegan pathway for about 25 years now. And the beauty of this is chronic diseases are reversed. And it takes time. It takes about 3 to 5 years. But I've seen diabetic patients, especially diabetic patients, obese patients, and hypertensive patients. So there's metabolic syndrome right there. I've seen them reverse. And even insulin-dependent patients get better. So it really is worth presenting this as a great option for patients.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Wow.
And Dr. Kotecha himself is an optometrist. He practices what he preaches, and
Yes.
I've seen his family, and they've done fantastic with the diet that they put themselves on. I used to question them all the time. Why are you doing this, Deepak? I get the answer now. I see what benefits.
I mean, we don't see it as a diet. We see it as the way of life.
Way of life.
Yeah.
I would.
It's not a diet.
I honor that.
Yeah,
definitely.
thank you.
Look, folks, everything has to end when we come to a studio, so we're going to have to finish the show early today because I have to go. Ramesh has to go, and Dolly
she also has
to go. You had an engagement, I think, a speaking engagement somewhere. Mayur is the only one who doesn't have to go. He can take over for the next 20 minutes if he wants to.
If people want to learn about what I do at NASA.
Yeah, you are a NASA engineer. We want to get you in one day and talk to y'all. We have so many fantastic people in Houston.
In fact, congratulations to NASA for the takeoff yesterday.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Kudos to you guys.
Kudos to
Awesome.
you guys. Right.
I want to thank everyone for coming on and coming on so much. I love you guys out there.
And we're gonna be back. We're gonna bring you back once you get more and more people involved with this. I want to thank the Chavlas. We're gonna get them into the studio.
Yes, please.
If you can connect us with them. And I want to thank, of course, I know how to get Dr. Kotecha very easily. But again, thank you everyone for calling in. Thank you, Dolly. Thank you, Mayur, for coming in. And go veganism.
Yes,
right?
yeah, baby, go vegan, baby.
Yes, sir. Ramesh,
V.
yeah, the V for vegan.
Yeah.
Ramesh, thank you for coming and helping us here in the studio. Folks, thank you for listening to Open Forum. We're going to go back to our Nabil Bhai and Rehan Bhai's show, Naya Andaz, one of the best music shows that you can hear, listen on air, online, HUMFM Radio.com. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.